Today I want to talk about something that completely changed the way I approach drawing. For a while I had a habit that many artists have. I would draw a line, erase it, draw it again, erase it again. And sometimes I would spend more time fixing my drawing than actual drawing. I wasn't creating, I was correcting. So I decided to challenge myself. I forced myself to stop erasing. And honestly, I learned way more than I expected. At first it was uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. When you're used to having an eraser nearby, it can become a safety net. You know, you can always go back and fix something. But when I removed that option, I had to approach drawing differently. Instead of asking, how do I make this perfect? I started asking, how do I make this work? And the mind shift was huge. One thing I learned very quickly is that mistakes are not as noticeable as we think they are. As artists, we zoom in on every little thing. We notice every quick line, every uneven eye, ev- every tiny portion issue. But for most people, don't see those things. They look at the overall image. They're looking at the feeling. They're looking at the story, not the line or one line that bothers you for 20 minutes. Another thing I learned is the confidence grows through action over time. The more I drew without erasing, the more comfortable I became just making decisions. Instead of hesitating, I committed. Instead of second guessing every line, I moved forward. And surprisingly, my drawings started feeling more alive. There was more energy to them, more symbolism, more personality, more movement, because I wasn't constantly interrupting the process by erasing. I was allowing the drawing to flow. I also noticed something unexpected. Drawing became more fun and more relaxing. When I wasn't obsessing over perfection, I could focus on details, textures, ideas, and creativity. I could spend my time adding things instead of fixing things. And that's why I started to have the most fun. Adding patterns, adding symbols, adding texture, or anything else. Adding shadow, adding personality. The drawing became an adventure instead of a test. Now, does that mean will I ever make mistakes again? Absolutely not. I make mistakes all the time. The difference is that I don't panic when they happen. I learned that most mistakes would be worked into the drawing somehow, and fixing them is endless. A line can become a shadow. A shape can become part of the design. So I hope this video helped you in some ways to stop erasing. A watermark can become texture. Sometimes things you thought ruined a drawing actually improves it. You can hide the mistakes. One of my favorite lessons for this challenge is that progress happens when you really need to be seen and learning. Every drawing doesn't have to be your masterpiece. Keep that in mind, because that's really important. Every page doesn't have to be perfect. You see here as complete portraits, that would be doing. Sometimes the goal is to simply draw, to practice, to experiment, to grow. And honestly, when I stopped erasing, I started finishing more artwork. I spent less time worrying and more time creating. And that's something I want to continue drawing. So if you're someone who constantly reaches for the eraser, maybe try to challenge. Give yourself one page, one sketch, one drawing, even one line, and see what happens when you commit to the lines you make. You might surprise yourself by how much confidence you build. And you might discover the things you were mistakes that actually helping you grow along. Thanks so much for watching, and let me know in the comments what's the one art habit you challenge yourself to change. And I'll see you in my next video. If you have any questions, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And continue on watching the video and enjoy the process of learning and growing without erasing. Bye, guys.